Hello, Jesse Robbins here, and this is my interview and ecosystem presentation for the analysis project in the spring 2016 term of ICT 733 Impacts of Technology. I work for the Worldwide Safety Auditing Systems and Project Management team with Walt Disney Parks and Resorts. What does worldwide mean to us? Well, we support teams in Florida, California, Hawaii, France, China, Hong Kong, Japan, and our cruise line at sea. For some perspective of what this entails, there are 54 distinct lines of business throughout the company, and just within the Florida region alone, approximately 65,000 employees. Worldwide Safety is one of the few teams that spans all locations and lines of business. So what is the Auditing Systems and Project Management team responsible for? Well, our main directive is providing clients with the right information and the right time and place to the right person, utilizing various technologies. This can be related to operational and engineering auditing, food safety, accessibility technologies, among others. The technologies that the team develops are deployed worldwide. In fact, we've developed two of the first platforms that are deployed across all of our domestic and international locations throughout the company. I interviewed 5 members of the team and one of our support team members. Ron Deering is the manager of the team. Part of his responsibilities are setting the overall vision and direction for the team, deciding what is focused on, and ensuring that we can meet those goals. Sean Bowling is in charge of our innovation efforts. As a general operation, there's a constant examination of new technologies happening to determine how they may impact what we can offer and develop upon. Jimmy Hinesley oversees the delivery portion of business. He works with our development partners and oversees the documentation writers. Chad Johnson, Denise Cross, and the rest of the project managers work through deploying technologies to various lines of businesses and locations across the company. While I'm the one primarily focused on sustainment activities within our team, I work with a lot of outside partners, like Jonathan Fung, who's part of our corporate IT team that supports all aspects of our business. The first set of questions I asked was about the technologies they used and what they wished they had available. I received a wide variety of answers depending on the person, though SharePoint was definitely the most common answer. Other technologies were Chefs and Safety Check, which are programs we've developed, version 1 for Agile project management, and Microsoft Project for the wider program and portfolio management. Wi-Fi and mobile technologies also play a large part in people's work. When it comes to changes or additions, there were some interesting suggestions, like the ability to create apps in-house, mobile charging, location and platform agnostic systems, and hands-free abilities. While these are disparate changes and additions, they do actually all relate back to the overall strategic vision. After we spoke about this, we moved on to training and technology. I was actually surprised at the differing views on this throughout the team. Sean and Chad both mentioned that with mobile-first design policy we employ, that the UI and UX should be intuitive enough not to require training. Jimmy and Ron both mentioned that there's training available, but not enough and not covering enough of the technologies. Denise actually took a completely opposite stance of Chad and Sean, stating that while the expectation is end users should just get it, there are too many assumptions being made about their exposure to technology. Jonathan mentioned that it's difficult to find training for his team that has a reasonable return on investment, especially because it becomes out of date so quickly. It's easier for them to just train by getting into the systems and researching settings. While we talked about roadblocks and challenges domestically, I was interested to learn about working with our international partners. A challenge that came up that I hadn't really considered was working with translators during conference calls. Each translator has a different style, and it can be a challenge to adapt to that. There are also challenges with things like international privacy and data laws, as well as the more straightforward issues around time differences and character sets. When physically actually working in an international location, there also tends to be issues with technology infrastructure and resources being less than we experience domestically. Overall, I learned a lot about the team through these interviews. There was great importance placed on the strategy and roadmap, and that it needs to be broad enough to allow room for growth and change. The next major aspect was that staffing should have a direct correlation to the output capacity. For example, a team that's running at 180% of capacity really should examine their staffing situation because they're likely going to burn out the team. The other was that there was a major change in work from tactical types of work to more process-related in the last few years. This has been due to a corporate culture change to focus more on the underlying processes being done throughout the company. Thank you for listening, and I hope you found this as interesting as I have.